Hello everybody and welcome back to another 1000 PS TV video. Welcome. Today I'm gonna show you 4 new Husqvarna models. Those would be the new Svartpilen and Vitpilen 125 and 401. Then I'll do a few interviews with key figures here at Kiska. We are once again here at Kiska, and then together we are gonna give you a few insights into the design and the process behind these bikes. Right, so let's get started. The history of these two bikes begins in 2004 when we first saw the prototype models and the first drawings of these bikes. In 2017, the model was finally launched for the market, and for me it has always been a very special bike because of the special features this bike came with. Back in the days, it already had an ABS that could be turned off, which was very unique. Now, obviously, many manufacturers have that. But now, 10 years after the first drawings leaked and the first prototype models we saw, we get new models of this bike. So we have the A1 and A2 license-compliant models here in front of us. The 125cc obviously is the A1 bike, and the 401 is the A2 bike. We have 15 horsepower and 11.5 Newton meters of torque in the 125cc bike. The law doesn't allow for more horsepower or more torque, and a weight of 155 kilos. These models are still prototypes, so they have not been homologated yet, and the final weight is probably gonna be announced once the actual bike has been confirmed. The 401 now has a bigger engine. It now features a 399cc engine and not a 373cc engine. It is the same engine that can be found in the KTM Duke 390. The bike weighs 165 kilos. And delivers 45 horsepower and 39 Newton meters of torque. When it comes to the aesthetics, many things have changed. The bikes have grown much bigger, and I remember my brother had one of these, and when I sat on it, I'm 187 centimeters tall, that's over 6 feet. I remember I felt like a cyclops. I was simply too big for this bike. Now the bikes are way bigger. Both the 125 and the 401 have grown by about 20% in their length and in their overall size. But the seat height has been reduced. That is very interesting. So the bike has gotten bigger, but the seat height was lowered. So finally, you can actually bring somebody with you on this bike without them fearing of falling off the bike. Another novelty is the license plate holder, which has been moved. So if it rains now, you won't get all the dirt from the road on your clothes. Another new thing is the 5-inch TFT screen. This was my biggest critique I had for the old model. The round display unit we had was not very good. It was very difficult to read the information from the display, and setting up the features was very tedious and very difficult. Now you have a simple command unit with which you can set everything up very well. Even with gloves, which is usually what you wear as a biker, so they definitely improved that by a big margin. Now we have two riding modes, street and rain. We have a traction control that can be turned off. We have cornering ABS also for a 125, which is insane in my opinion. Very, very, very cool. And we get an engine brake control, which you can set up threefold. The 125 shares many components with the 401. The fork and the shock are both adjustable. In the 401, they have twofold adjustability. On the 125, however, you can only adjust the preload of the spring. The hardware is close to the same. The 125 feels like a very solid bike with great build quality. The same goes for the 401. Surely this is gonna be the top bike you can get in the A1 license category. You even have a USB-C charger. You have these great LED lights in the front and in the rear as standard. The build quality, like I said, is great. This feels like a very grown-up 125cc bike. The target group obviously still being young people, those who maybe want to begin riding a bike, or maybe simply those who don't have the other licenses yet. Also, the clutch lever and the brake lever, they're both adjustable, which is awesome for a bike in this category. On the 401, we can see a few optionals, like this mirror, or the mini LED blinkers and the engine protection. Anyways, you can personalize these bikes in many ways, beginning from the accessories you can officially buy. One of the best things about these bikes is that both of them have a quick shifter as standard, which is insane. A 125cc bike with a quick shifter as standard. That is something new for this category of bikes. In general, it's pretty difficult to get a quick shifter for your 125cc bike, even in the aftermarket, and this bike comes out with it as standard. So that is a really interesting and great feature in my opinion. Now let's move on to an interview with the head of engineering, Andreas. So Andreas, tell me, what are the shared components between the 390 Duke and the 401 Svartpilen? So the shared components are the mainframe, the swing arm, the exhaust system, and the brakes. The rear frame of the 401 is screwed on. You have a trellis frame screwed onto the main frame. Then you have a different seating position with respect to the Duke, and obviously a whole different setup just for this bike. From the market feedback we saw that one of their main complaints was the seat height, which was too high, so we lowered it. And the handlebars. The handlebars of the Vitpilen, they used to be clip-ons, and now we have gone to a more traditional setup. With my height of 187 centimeters, I felt really comfortable on the 125cc bike, even though they have lowered it. The bike overall, like I said, is 20% bigger and longer. It is a way more grown-up bike now. Are the models more similar now than they were in the past? Yes, probably. The Svartpilen is the more commonly sold bike from the two. So Husqvarna didn't mainly focus on it, but they focused a bit more on the Svartpilen than on the Vitpilen. We can see that the Vitpilen features a more traditional handlebar now, which makes it a bit more similar to the Svartpilen, but you still have key features that distinguish the two bikes. The position of the foot pegs is the same for both of these bikes, but the position of the handlebar is different. The old Svartpilen, or Vitpilen for that matter, was very agile. You could basically draw lines in your head and the bike would follow exactly that line in every corner. Now the stability has been improved thanks to its bigger size, and therefore it's even better for beginners or people who return to riding after a break. However, in the twisties, this bike will still be very agile, but simply more calm, less nervous, and way more stable. Let's move on to my interview with Christoph, head of design. Hey Christoph, a few weeks ago I was already here and talked to you about the new KTM Duke and their design. Obviously today we are talking Husqvarna. You design bikes not only for KTM but also for Husqvarna, among other clients of yours. Is it a challenge for you to work for all of these brands at the same time? Or what is your opinion on that? For us, it's a big benefit to be able to work for different brands. We have a completely different approach for each brand. All in all, I think it is a challenge to work for different projects at the same time. But at the same time, it's also very pleasing for me to do so, and I really like it. So yes, it is very enjoyable, but still a challenge. Do the same people work for KTM or Husqvarna projects, or does everybody just work for one brand? No, many people actually want to work for different brands, and that's the reason they enjoy it here so much. Others, however, say they prefer working for a certain brand because maybe they just like the brand very much, and so they focus on that. All right, I understand. Great. But let's talk about these bikes. I said that they have become a bit more similar to each other. But we also have other news, right? For example, the license plate holder is different, right? The Vitpilen doesn't have clip-ons anymore. Does that hurt your designer's heart, or how do you feel about that? Well, I think that we did our best with both of these bikes, and that we managed to get great results. Also, from an ergonomics point of view, the bikes are a bit more similar now, yes, but you can still personalize them in many different ways. For example, by buying the accessories. What was the thought process when designing these bikes? Was it painful for you to design them very similarly one to another, or what did you think about that? Well, the second we got the green light for our design, we just took care of implementing the design and making that reality, and that argument was basically done for us, so it wasn't too important for us. All in all, I find it a good idea to make a 125cc bike feel like you're sitting on something bigger, like maybe on a 400. I think that is the right approach. Yes, and I am very happy to not look like a clown when sitting on a 125cc bike. Thank you very much, Christoph. Now let's move on to the Vitpilen. Here they are, white Vitpilen. In front of me, the 401 and the 125cc versions. Obviously, you can see that from an ergonomics point of view, things have changed. The old one still had these clip-on handlebars, which would cause pain in your wrists after about 50 or 60 kilometers of riding. Now they opted for a more traditional handlebar. The sitting position is not as extreme anymore. The knee angle is also way better now, and it's the same on the Svartpilen and the Vitpilen because, as he said, the position of the foot pegs has changed. Now you have a very pleasant seating position on the bike. I personally find that the Vitpilen is the better looking bike from the two. I really like the wheels on this bike, and in my opinion, the bar end mirrors are an absolute must for anybody choosing to buy this bike. They make the bike look way better, and also they fitted this fly screen here, which is a great addition in my opinion. Also, the new position of the shock, in my opinion, makes the bike look a bit more special, and actually it suits it pretty well. So I hope that I was able to give you a good overview of the two bikes. Let me know about your opinion of these bikes in the comments down below. What do you think about the changes? Would you rather have the old version or the new one? Or would you rather buy a KTM and say, no, if I want to have a KTM product, I'll just get a KTM branded product? I want to say thank you to Kiska for inviting me here and for giving me this great opportunity. And I'm looking forward to trying one of these out. Thank you very much. See you next time.